Well, that's a tough act to follow. I'm Tem. I'm a friend of Wes's from grade school, believe it or not. We went to school together since about first grade. So Maya, in case you're having any buyer's remorse at this point, I just want to say they brought in a Wesley Smith expert to let you know two things. The first is that Wes is a really, really good guy. And the second is that life is never going to be boring with Wes. It definitely hasn't been for the rest of us. So in addition to being a good guy, Wes is actually also a very precise person, especially when it comes to things that he wants. So this became clear to me in high school when during track practice he would call out the exact time to the second that he wanted to run a 200 meter or a 400 meter split, and he would then proceed to run that exact split, which I just never understood how he did that. Or when we drove all over Dallas looking for the exact type of color film that he needed to shoot a picture for the school paper. Which sounds extreme until you remember that film is something we actually used to take pictures. We don't really use that anymore. And then there's a time in New York when we wandered all over Midtown Manhattan looking for a specific store that specialized in imported Japanese pens. Because for Wes, the normal pens that we could get at Office Max were never quite good enough. So, with this degree of precision, I definitely wasn't surprised when Wes told me that the woman he was going to marry was going to be beautiful, smart, Ivy League educated, half French Canadian, half Japanese, with a penchant for running her own successful business. Not surprising at all. And I was like, man, we were going to be waiting for a while. Okay. So the years went by. Wes joined a PhD program. He traveled the world. He produced some really, really great art. Stuff really average people do all the time. And then one day during my second year of residency, he called me in the hospital and he said, I'm going to come visit you in Boston. And I was very excited because, it had been a while since Wes had been in town. This is great. I said, yeah, of course, come whenever you want. We'll hang out. But I was even more delighted when he said that he was coming to see a girl he was really excited about, that he really liked. And from the way Wes talked about Maya, I knew at that moment how excited he was, how into her he was. I knew at that moment that this was going to be probably the last time he ever stayed with me by himself in Boston. And it was. And then when I met Maya, not too long afterwards, I understood why. Given the choice, I wouldn't hang out with me either. Of course, Maya is beautiful and talented, no question about that. But more than that, she's a really cool person and a real pleasure to spend time with. And since Wes has been with her, I've never seen him more happy, more fulfilled, or more complete as a person. So Maya, thank you for making Wes even more fun to hang out with than he was before. So in that spirit, I want to raise a glass to Wes and Maya, who have a long and fulfilling life ahead of them, and for whom, as Walt Whitman wrote, the strongest and sweetest songs remain yet to be sung.